So when you read the Gospels, and Matthew's a little different from Mark, and Mark's a little different from Luke, and Luke's a little different from John, just know this: everybody saw the same event, but in different ways. And they noticed different things. And so Mary's gonna talk about it from her perspective. It's not gonna be somebody else's perspective. But the story begins early on Sunday morning. Underline in your notes, it's still dark. It's still dark. Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and found the stone had been rolled away from the entrance. She ran and found Simon Peter and the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and she said, they've taken the Lord's body out of the tomb. If you're not a Christian, I want you to know no one was more surprised by the empty tomb than Christians. Right? When we go to funerals, we don't expect somebody to get out of the casket. Matter of fact, that'd freak us out. They weren't expecting this to happen. She said they've taken the body out of the tomb. She thinks Jesus is stolen. Why? Dead people don't move. She says they've taken the Lord's body out of the tomb and we don't know where they've put him. And Peter and the other disciples started out for the tomb. Now here's one of the ways you know this story is accurate, because there's a detail here that makes no sense, and you know it happened, guys, because this is how we are. Guys, everything for us is a competition. Ladies, you will never understand this. We just have to win. It doesn't even matter if we're going to see the tomb of Jesus. If you have two guys going, you have a race. Amen, guys? You have a race. This is an odd detail put in there. Listen, it says they were both running, but the other disciple outran Peter. Amen? Amen. John just wants us to know who won. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, right? Because guys are guys. Jesus rose, but John's like, I won. I was the first to the tomb. But the other disciple outran Peter. But it says he reached the tomb first. Only guys would care about this. He stood and he looked in and he saw the linen wrappings lying there, but he didn't go in. Then Simon Peter arrived and went inside, and he also noticed the linen wrappings were lying there, while the cloth that covered Jesus' head was folded up. Underline this, folded up and lying apart from the other wrappings. I can't even make my bed when I've been asleep for a few hours. Jesus is dead, goes to hell, and he's like, nope, we gotta tidy this place up. My wife's like, I wish I married Jesus, because she struggles with this. She wants me to make the bed every day. Just notice it, it's just an interesting detail. Then the disciple, he has to remind us again, who had reached the tomb first, he also went in. Now underline this. He saw and believed. He's not only the first one to the tomb, he's the first one to go, oh, all those messages, all those sermons, I get it. Let's just be honest. We don't all believe at the same time. Some of us believe instantly. Some of us just get it. Some of us just grew up knowing God. Your parents didn't even teach you about God. You're like, there's a God. Like, it's amazing how like 3-year-olds know there's a God and you're all going to hell. You're like, whoa, that was prophetic. But for some of us, we struggle and we wrestle and we fight it. I want you to know, for some people, faith is very easy. John got it. Listen to me, Peter's still struggling. Mary is still crying. John believes, but the other two don't. Look, we have a special class at Sandals Church called The Path. No judgment. It's a place for you to come and for you to ask questions. Maybe you're not John. Maybe you didn't sprint and get to the tomb first, but Jesus wants you to get there. And he wants you to believe and he wants you to understand. Maybe you haven't been to church in a while. Maybe you weren't raised in the church and you have so many questions. We have a class for you. A safe place for you to come, for you to sit down and to learn about the resurrected life of Jesus and how he can resurrect your life and change your life. I want to encourage you to think about that.